May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Gook Audio mini podcast. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, free from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. So today we have another outtake from Zen is Right Now, more teaching stories and anecdotes of Shunryu Suzuki. I see in the metadata I have outtakes from Zen is Right Here and Zen is Right Now, which is true. But Zen is Right Now was the last one. And, of course, we considered the outtakes from Zen is Right Here, and we used some of them. So anyway, let's see what we've got here. Oh, yeah. This is from Catherine Cook. Before I came to Zen Center, my boyfriend asked me to describe myself in 3 words. I said, Kathy, girl, thinker. At the first Shosan, that's a ceremony at Tassajara at the end of Sesshin, I asked Suzuki Roshi a complicated question in which I expressed my understanding of Buddhism, ending with, quote, from the heights to the depths. He said, your understanding is correct, but it's not real. Try not to think so much. I appreciate that. Reminds me of Stan White. Stan White repeated back to Suzuki something Suzuki said, and Suzuki said, when I said it, it was true, and when you said it, it was false. So this is the same thing. Your understanding is correct, but it's not real. Try not to think so much. You know, those of us, can you hear that airplane? Anyway, I'm not going to stop for an airplane. We can't let airplanes get in our way. You know, we spend so much time reading profound things, listening to profound things, and reading as many profound things as possible, and filling our lives with profound things. I remember I was in Whole Foods in Sebastopol, and I ran into an old friend, a priest from the San Francisco Zen Center, who had his own group by then, you know. And went back a ways. I think he arrived in maybe a little early. Maybe he first came around 70. I remember it was 71. Anyway, while Suzuki was still alive. And I was talking to him, and then a woman came up who was another person who sat zazen, but she did other things. And the two of them just traded information on what they were doing, studying, who they were studying with, workshops, teachers, you know, different paths and approaches, religious, psychological, you know, like yoga, and it just went on and on. And it was this whole cornucopia of practices and ways and paths and profundity. Man, I listened to them, and I thought, I just had this feeling of just wanted to come down to one thing, you know. it was like going through a jungle and cutting away with a machete, you know. Everything is just wanting a bare path. Now, I do a bunch of different stuff. You know, I sit in the morning. I've done Vipassana, Zen. I do retreats with a healer here in Bali who's basically Vipassana trained, but he has this other stuff he adds in. I do yoga. I love Advaita Vedanta, or Advaita as they call it here. You know, non-dual Hinduism. Really loved meditating and living by the Ramana ashram in India. And, you know, I'll do anything. I was telling our carpenter who's worked for us, who's a Muslim, I said, hey, I you know, just did the purification ceremony at the temple down here. I got this twine around my wrist for it, the 3-colored twine. I said, you know, we're Buddhists, but I don't think about Buddhism. And I said, I don't really think about it. I said, you know, if I was visiting you in Java and it was okay, I'd go to the mosque. And he said, God doesn't care. I loved that. God doesn't care. But so I think we can do all that because these are eclectic times. But I think it's good not to think about all of it. You know, just you can be doing one thing in a sense, moving through all that. Maybe. I think I can. So anyway, each of us has to decide for ourselves what is enough and what is too much. I mean, we're not going to stop thinking. Somebody says, try not to think so much. I'd say it really means try not to put so much weight in what one thinks. You know, I find in meditation, of course, we know it's pointless to try to stop thinking. It doesn't mean you can't stop thinking. You don't stop thinking by trying to stop thinking. So what I notice is that the thinking is pretty dominant. And if I do nothing and just let it go on. And also at first, I'm not so interested in sitting. I'm just doing it because I do it. And I might even think, because I'm my own master, I sit by myself. Katrinka sits by herself, I sit by myself. If somebody comes to stay with us who wants to sit, I tell them, you go sit by yourself. Because I wake up at a different time every day. I like to drink some hot water and clean the kitchen if that needs it, and then sit. You know, I don't want to schedule a sitting. I'm not saying if I'm with a group or if there is some group, and I could join that, you know, I will do it with them. But anyway. So I find frequently I think, well, maybe I won't sit so long today. I got a lot to do, and I feel like getting to that. So I'll just count to 100 and go on, or whatever, you know, just sit for a while. But after a while, the thinking gets less important. And then after a while, I find I don't want to get up. And you can just keep going. And I think, gosh, I could do this all day long. But anyway, it's really up to each of us to figure out how to deal with that, huh? From the heights to the depths, Kathy said. And he said, your understanding is correct, but it's not real. Try not to think so much. So, what does that mean to each of us? How do we apply that? How do we understand that? This has been a Cuke Audio Podcast. I'm DC Poopa of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from Sleepy Sonora with Dogga Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.